Why does Ubisoft do this to me? Ubisoft is a company that I feel has so much potential, and for some reason, they're the only company that I always seem to root for, even when I know their games are just going to be bad. It must be because of how they treat their consumers. For the most part, Ubisoft is pretty fair when it comes to not screwing their fans over with stuff like microtransactions. So last week, Ubisoft announced that they are pushing back Watch Dogs 3, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Gods and Monsters. They said that they wanted the developers to have more time. Another thing they released was their earnings report, and well...
Oh man, oh god, oh man, oh god.
Ubisoft stock fell 29% due to Ghost Recon Breakpoint and, to a lesser degree, The Division 2. Yo, what's good? You already know I'm Ken Wall, and why are Ubisoft titles so hit or miss? Even though people are, I don't want people to take this the wrong way, I'm not saying Ubisoft is a bad company. They made Siege, enough said, but all I'm saying is that they are way too inconsistent. Like I said, they come out with an innovative, great shooter like Siege, then they come out with Ghost Recon Wildlands. Next, they come out with Watch Dogs 1. Then they come out with Watch Dogs 2, which was great. I was very happy to find out these games got delayed, especially Watch Dogs 3 and Rainbow Six Quarantine, because I'm really looking forward to them, especially Watch Dogs, but I knew they were going to get delayed when we didn't even get any official gameplay for both, especially Quarantine, and that was supposed to arrive in early 2020. Well, one of the reasons why I think their games have been missed lately, Ubisoft likes to cut corners, and that is why they find themselves in the situation they're in right now. Ubisoft has a lot of games that have great ideas, especially during the reveal, but when we get our hands on the full game, they end up missing something vital and they lack depth. For example, their open world games, look at both the Ghost Recon games. Both games, one of the main complaints was that the world felt empty, especially in Wildlands. Open world games, you gotta have a lot of small detail to make the open world feel alive. That's what they always miss. Wildlands didn't have it, and in Breakpoint, they created a fictional island that is already deserted. It just seems like they just made that story for the island to have an excuse to not add people and add otherworldly things into Breakpoint. Another thing that they did in Breakpoint that makes me believe they just take shortcuts is they just tackled on a loot system, and it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. For the most part, Breakpoint is an easy game no matter what difficulty, and the loot system somehow has no grind to it. Most of the time when you find armor or a gun, it's better than what you have, so you just replace it. When you get the loot, it's supposed to be rewarding. Look at Destiny, look at Borderlands, look at even The Division 1 and 2. When you get that loot, you feel like you earned it, and it's very rewarding. In this game, you just open up a crate and boom, it's there. It's already better. You can't have that when it's a loot system. But the main reason why Ubisoft is so inconsistent is because of time. I honestly think this is the only reason why Ubisoft isn't great yet. They're good, but they're just not great yet, and it's because their inconsistency with their games. One game it will be very good, next game it will be just bad. Ubisoft has a lot of great ideas, and their morals, like I said, how they treat consumers, how they listen to the community, they do that. They're one of the few companies that actually do that, and you actually see that they do it. But their games they're just not there yet. Not all of them, but I feel like with time, if you give Ubisoft time with their games, then we got something. Why does Ubisoft always have to come out with this many number of games a year, especially when they need time?
Stop it.
Whenever they take their time on a game, they come out with fire, like Siege, Watch Dogs 2, and Assassin's Creed Origins. You know how many alphas Siege had before it went into beta? Correct me if I'm wrong, I think Siege even got delayed because they wanted to polish more of the multiplayer. Again, Assassin's Creed games, they just kept pushing them out. every single year, and then they're like, all right, let's take a year break. Then they come out with a hit like Origins. They just need time, and with them pushing these games back makes me very happy that I think they're finally noticing their mistakes. They might need to dial it back because it's like 2 big AAA games, and that takes a lot of production time. So if I definitely would want to see Ubisoft try and do a 1 AAA game a year, and maybe they come out with their smaller indie games. 2, put that in the mix, but definitely 1. I definitely feel like Ubisoft would have more hits on their hands if they just compress that down to 1 AAA game, because when you give Ubisoft time, their games are very, very good and very polished. I hope most of you got to the end of this video, but like I said, I wasn't trying to shit on Ubisoft anyway, because I really like Ubisoft games. I don't know if you saw my E3 video, Watch Dogs 3 was at the top. That was like one of my favorite reveals out of E3. I have a lot of hope for that, and I was very disappointed how Watch Dogs 2 got slept on, because that was a very good improvement, especially coming from the first one. But because the first one, it really tricked a lot of people and they didn't see it coming, they just didn't like it, and they didn't pick up the second one. But you give Ubisoft time, Ubisoft, start giving yourself time, but once they start giving themselves time and actually start polishing their games, they will become a great company. I just don't think they're there yet. Thank you guys for watching. You already know I'm Ken Wall. If you guys are interested in my other content, like on my Instagram, I post daily gaming news twice a day, 5 days out of the week. Wow, I don't even know my own schedule. I highly advise you check my Instagram out. If not, just like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. I'm out. Peace.